2 years ago I had a very serious mental break, lost my job, and I have been unemployed ever since. I'm healthy now. How do I explain the 2-year gap in employment to recruiters in a way that hurts me the least? Can you guys help me with some advice, please? I should have applied for disability, but I did not. Before then, I had an excellent work history recently in a highly professional, somewhat high-profile job. I have a great work history. I'm a college grad. I was a firefighter for 12 years and was a logistics manager that wore many hats for a large city fire department. I have never been terminated and have great references. Mental health is so stigmatized and I'm anxiety-ridden over this. I just want to get back to work in any location or person here. They don't need to know the details. You were taking care of a health issue. It has been dealt with and you were back and ready to be your normal productive self. Period. No need to say whose issue it was, yours, your family's, or what kind. Perhaps you can provide proof or your readiness and redirect the conversation by talking about the courses you've since taken, what you've been reading that's related, or the people in the industry you've talked to stay in the loop. A good employer with a healthy workplace will accept that and respect your privacy. Congrats on your comeback. Takes real strength to get through what you just did. To be honest, it's a little overwhelming to hear from a professional. In a good way. I've been pent up about this for a while. I've been spending my time writing. That's what I got, but I can build on that and think on it for when the inevitable question is asked. Thank you. Thank you. If op is in the us, legally an employer cannot ask any details about the health issues. To do so would violate the ADA. They can also only require any disclosure of essential information surrounding it if you are asking for accommodations, and even then it is only after you are hired. What if the gap is longer? I quit my job when I was 30 because of depression and severe social anxiety. I basically didn't have any human contact for 5 years in a foreign country. I reunited with my family last year back in Hong Kong and had been self-studying to become a web developer. I feel like I am ready, but I don't know how to explain the long gap. I also don't have real job experience. I don't know what I can do aside from trying to somehow prepare an insanely impressive portfolio. Also, I did quit on good terms, so it would be hard to get a good reference. I just want a chance to prove myself and become financially independent so I don't have to live with the family member who was the cause of my depression. The type of her responses we need on this sub. Thank you. Just say you took time away to focus on a family health issue. They don't need a detailed or long explanation. If they ask for more details, then it's a red flag and you wouldn't want to work for them anyway. Thank you. This is the right answer. I lost a couple years to cancer and I hate that I have to reveal that to my bosses to get a foot in the door. Most folks have been pretty cool about it. Why the gap? I had a private family health issue. Don't sweet it. If asked during an interview, simply state that you had to take time off work to focus on a health issue and you've since made a full recovery. You neither have to nor should you go into more details. On your resume cover letter, you can go 2 ways. Either you don't mention it at all if your resume is strong for the position you've applied to. That's probably the way I'd go. Or you could mention it but be brief and concise. 1 sentence explaining that you had to prematurely end your previous employment to seek full-time care and are now eager to jump back in should be enough. Either way, don't go into details. With a health issue, mental or physical, the message you want to send is that it is over and you are fit for employment. If you make it a big issue, then it becomes one for the recruiter as well. Thank you. You seem very experienced and I'm taking notes. You have no idea how much I need this. Or here. I was a recruiter for a long time. I've seen gaps, and yes, I do ask why there is a gap if I see anything for more than a year. A lot of job seekers say taking care of family due to sickness. I stop right there. Pretty sure not all of them were honest, but if the resume fits the bill, the gap is the least of my problem. If you have good reference, you're good. But start applying for jobs ASAP. Don't want your 2-year gap turned to 5. Good luck. Edit. See this. 1,616,630,400 Vitatilia 60 Herjabal 100 Connectics for Famazeroi Zevinox 200 by an agency recruiter. Trust me, 70 of us won't even call you looking at the gap. This is very unfortunate and is mainly because of the requirements coming from hiring managers and pressure from our internal management. According to them, someone who has not been working for more than a year cannot work again. Hey up, I'm still a student, so I can't give you advice about this, but I'm proud of you for getting through it. And good luck with work. Thank you for stopping in and being so kind. You have no idea how much it means to me. You're good people. Good luck with your classes. I agree with the other posters on reasonable responses. In addition, the pandemic job loss over the last year has had an impact on many positions being available. I know this from my own experience. You could certainly add that you were planning to come back to the workforce last spring, but have not been able to find the fight position open up yet. The four if-then employment gap scenarios with further little if-then branches here. Career tuners. Combludge employment gaps resume here is a quick summary. Scenario 1. Kept up with studies during your employment gap. Scenario 2. Did something else during your time off from work. Scenario 3. You were fired suing an employer. Scenario 4. You took time off from work for strictly personal reasons. I'm assuming scenario 4 is the main one that applies to you, but pulling stuff from the examples in scenarios 1-3 might help you flesh your resume out. Career tuners come blog explaining also. Here's the corresponding guides on interviews. This is a very common thing in the job search world, which is why I was compelled to create these guides on them. Employment gaps are a part of life. Please don't beat yourself up. Sabbatical. Hot menu and Sevendig 19 hours ago, never taking another sabbatical ever again. Oof, to reply, share, report, save, continue this thread. They actually covered this in a comedic way for Silicon Valley. Me native accounting finance 21 hours ago, brilliant. To reply, share, report, save. I would just lie and make up a job history. Just claim you were injured while working as a firefighter, got hired at a business that closed down, and now you are looking for another job. A lot of people won't want to hire someone that has been unemployed for 2 years for mental health reasons. I've always lied to cover gaps in my resume, and it has always worked. My advice is slightly different than most of the responses. Although I agree with them that you could say you had an unspecified health issue and leave it at that. The job market is so brutal now that if a hiring manager has hundreds of qualified candidates, they usually look for a reason to start filtering out people, and someone who took a lot of time off for an illness could be seen as a risk. It is important to note I don't agree with this at all. I'm only being realistic. My advice is to fill that gap with consulting work. Create an ULC, and that is your consulting company, or asking someone you know to say you did consulting for them. It might not be ethical, but in this brutal job market it is about survival. Hot menu on 7:15 hours ago. Does freelance copywriter sound? 4-1 reply, share, report, save, continue this thread. How did you leave your most recent job? Could say you were having some physical injury that needed surgery and therapy. They can't really force you to give medical records since that violates HIPAA. Or did you have kids? Stay-at-home parent. Did you do any contract or freelance work you could count? Could say you took college classes, traveled abroad, had family priorities. I had, let's say it lightly, a mental break, and I quit my job willingly. They advertised my position and were doing interviews before I got out of the hospital. Therefore, the Civil Service Commission that could normally protect me was powerless. I spent the first 6 months, figuratively and literally, in the fetal position. And it's really taken me another year to finally be well enough to work again. It was a road. While HIPAA would protect a lie, making up a surgery and subsequent is just asking for trouble. There's no need to be so detailed. I was tending to a health issue. It's been resolved, and I'm ready to get back to work. We'll do just fine. Stay-at-home, parent, volunteer, work, college classes, traveling abroad would all do well, too. But some of them would be extremely sticky to lie about. Just say you had to take time off for health reasons. Legally, they cannot ask any details about it. Per ADA, even if you were to ask for reasonable accommodations, they can only ask what accommodations you need, not the specifics of why you need them. By leaving it open like that, for all they know, you could have had a badly broken leg that took a long time to heal properly, or some kind of major surgery that is no longer an issue. It happens. I have a similar problem. It's been 2 years since I've worked. Seems like if you were not working, companies don't want to hire you. I'm a web developer with 10 years experience. I can't believe that I haven't found a job yet. I have a similar situation too, but I got the job offer at the end because somehow I bypassed the phone interview and straight up to technical interview, and then the final interview with the team members and manager. Team lead 200 Moster has no idea how to choose a good candidate. They only know how to look for the candidate. How long work experience does he have and piece of paper degree. Moster also don't count self-employed experience. If you have job gaps, then her will automatically put your resume into the trash like you're not even going to have a chance to interview. Finally resigned from my toxic job after landing the one of my dreams. How do I even begin to explain my relief? I've been in banking for a couple years, previously working with risk, and for the past 2 I've been doing AML. At first, the job was exciting. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Narcissists like that are totally unpleasable. It is all about them and making them look good. Good luck with your future career. Narcissists like that are totally unpleasable. It is all about them and making them look good. I hate managers that take all the credit and refuse to acknowledge the people under them that made it happen, because they are sure fast enough to throw the blame downhill on the people under them. Bad managers take all the credit for anything good others do, but act like they are Teflon when anything bad happens. The buck stops here. Don't apply to them unless it is a bonus check or award or praise. Sounds like my current workplace. Congratulations on finding your way out to a better future. Congrats, I recently transitioned from worst job ever to best job ever. In some ways, that horrible job gave me the confidence to go after this one and the wisdom to try to be the opposite of that experience. I realized my old boss really didn't know what she was doing and tried to hide it by creating chas in the department. When I realized I could do the job better than she is, I was ready to interview with a lot more confidence than I would have without that experience. Feels great to be on this side now. I'm the first hire of my team and get to build out my department. Nothing better than getting out of a place that has caused you pain and worry. Congratulations. Remember, a 2 notice is a courtesy. If you find that after you tell them, work becomes even more toxic, you can just leave. Do not tell anyone what company or job you are going to, and don't make it public posts about your new position until you've been there 6 months or more. You don't want one of these people to hunt your new employer down and sabotage this opportunity. I mean, no one. I've worked with a narcissist and a very toxic workplace. I'm so happy for you and wish you all the best. That's so cool. Congrats. So well deserved. Just curious, how did you go from finance to criminal investigator? Lol. That's so cool, but how? I lucked out. I got my master's in economics, wrote my thesis on the Panama leak and money laundering, got a job as an AML anti-money laundering analyst at this bank, and have been here for almost 2 years. The job is basically rummaging through company financials and transactions, looking for any indication of money laundering or signs of tax evasion. Whatever we find becomes the basis of a criminal investigation, as we send the reports directly to the police, who then delegate it to my country's equivalent of the ERS or FBI. So, combined with my knowledge of programming, my new employer, Gov. agency, saw it fit to recruit me for a newly created role, namely criminal investigator with a specialization in digital forensics. I'll be handling financial crime at the forefront now, instead of the back office. Moving forward from this, it is not unlikely that I could end up as a general criminal investigator working with the police, all due to a great deal of patience, persistence, and luck. Congratulations. I just recently received an offer after being bored as I could be for the last year. So frustrating to put in apps on apps, but isn't it great when it pays off? Congrats and good for you. I'm curious if anyone has seen a bad boss change for the better. Stuck with one now and have never seen any improve. Boopla's Newt 616 8 hours ago. I left my last job a year ago without anything lined up because of a terrible boss. Had only been there 5 months, but she made my life a living hell during that time. To put this short, I kept in touch with an old coworker who still works there and have been told that said boss has changed for the better, but only after her sent the department a survey about her. 41 reply share report save. Pretty sad that us peasants have to put up with tyrannical workplaces and bending over backwards in interviews to please employers while also putting our competition out of work, all while employers face no consequences, but instead just get rewarded. It is beyond bullshit. Wish I wasn't forced to participate in this rigged game. If it was for a bank, then I'm not surprised. Some of the most vindictive toxic bullies that I've ever encountered have been at large banks or financial companies. I am glad you were able to leave that toxic environment. I was fortunate to work for the same company for 21 years, and even though it had its ups and downs, most people were good to work with. Even when I was downsized, I received a generous severance based on my years of service. Special karma is awaiting people like that, and it will come around. One job, the weekend shift I worked on doesn't even exist anymore. Second job, the entire department was pretty much fired. The main manager is gone. 2 lower managers are gone. Regular employees had large turnover rate anyway. They remodeled the place. Third job, the entire company went under because they weren't running it correctly. My friend was manager there and would have a troubled look coming out of meetings as they were all smiling and laughing because she knew from her previous management experience that their days were numbered. She got out 14 months before I did. Later on, I saw one of the higher-ups at that place, who wasn't flat-out mean, but was a little bit cocky with me and clearly enjoying her position above me, working at a drugstore and getting chastised a bit by her superior a little bit because karma. Fourth job, the crappy husband and wife managers who lied about the hours that employees would get, and who didn't know how to run the place, for example. Thought it would be a great idea to have the hallways painted rather than repair or replace a faulty piece of equipment. They unsurprisingly do not run that place anymore. They only ran it for a few short years. 2. Even getting my last paycheck was a bit of a drama because the female manager was just incompetent. My advice is when you look back at your old job, don't look back in anger and bitterness. I only bring it up when I think telling this perspective may bring comfort to someone today, including myself. Jobs are never perfect. If I see random B at my own job today, I remember this. And I will never endure a flat-out toxic job situation ever again. Life is too short for that misery. Energy is constantly evolving and changing. Just pray for God to work miracles in that situation for anyone still sadly involved with it, then let it go in your mind. People tend to recall old painful job experiences as if those workplaces are still functioning exactly as they were when they left, even if they drive by the place. You would be amazed at what could be different. Even in a year's time, those changes may delight you, if when you hear about them. Even if unjust actions do go on for too many years, the universe has a way of pulling the rug out from under people like that. Awesome, congrats, I left a toxic job recently for a dream job too. It feels good to find the power within yourself to improve your situation and to switch to a job that will make a difference in the world. Congratulations on not only getting out of that toxic job, but not letting your previous narc bosses ruin your confidence completely to go after your dream job. Had a similar boss at a previous job that causes me pissed and made me never want to work for anyone else again for fear they would be the same or worse. I had never experienced a boss that was that toxic disordered before, and it took me by complete surprise despite red flags early on. Never ignore your gut instinct. Ruined my professional confidence since it is supposed to be an easy job. Good luck to you and thanks for sharing your story. A lot of us can relate to this.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.